everybody and welcome to Rocco Baby Crochet. I hope you're all well and having a great week. A lovely warm welcome back to all my regular viewers and subscribers. It's lovely to see you again and thank you for supporting the channel. A massive warm welcome to anybody who's just found the channel for the first time. I hope you enjoy this free pattern. Stick around and consider subscribing so that you don't miss out on my next free pattern or tutorial, and it also supports Rocco Baby Crochet as well. So we've got another Christmas pattern this week and we're making these gorgeous pet Christmas stockings. So they're so cute. I love that. I really do love these. The written pattern's going to be available over on my blog from Wednesday next week, and I'll leave a link to that pattern in the description of this video, so keep your eye out on Wednesday for that being updated if you do prefer a written pattern. So the things you're going to need to make your pet Christmas stocking is I've used the Women's Institute Red Soft and Smooth again, same as I used for my Christmas stockings last week. You're going to need about 70 grams of this in total for the red, and for my cream I've used around 50 grams, and that's the Women's Institute Soft and Smoothing Cream. Any Aran yarn that you want to use will be fine. These would also work if you wanted to use up some double knit. Obviously it'll just turn out a little bit smaller than mine, and I do think this is a really nice size to pop some treats and some toys in for Christmas. But if you wanted to go down a hook size and use a double knit, it would work as well. It would look really pretty. Along with your yarn, you're going to need a 5mm crochet hook, you're going to need a pair of scissors, a darning needle and a stitch marker. And that's all we need for this one. So grab your hooks, grab your yarn, grab a cuppa, and let's learn how we make our pet Christmas stockings together. So to begin making your animal stocking, you want to take the colour yarn that you've chosen to do the main part of the stocking in, and what we need to do first is we need to make the 4 little toes. 2 of the toes are going to be smaller than the second 2. I'm going to show you the largest one now, and I'll tell you at which point for the smaller 2 you're going to fasten off at. So you want to begin by making a magic ring. If you have difficulty making a magic ring, you can chain 4 and use that method if you prefer. If you do struggle and you want to use a magic ring, then I'll leave a link to my tutorial on how we make a magic ring in the description to this video. So once you've got your magic ring, what we're going to do is you want to just chain 1. And into the magic ring and around this loose end here, we're going to place 6 UK double crochets. So that will be 6 US single crochets. So you're going to insert your hook into the ring and underneath the loose end, pull up a loop, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through both of those loops. And then you're going to do exactly the same 5 more times, so in total you have 6 double crochets in this magic ring. So that's 2 and 3. Now if you are more comfortable using a stitch marker, pop a stitch marker into that very first double crochet that you've just placed, just so you don't lose it. 4, 5 and 6. So then if you pull on your loose end, it'll draw your magic ring together and give you a nice snug finish to the end of the toe. So next what we want to do is we're going to slip stitch where our stitch marker is here. So to our very first double crochet that we placed in the magic ring, we're just going to insert our hook into there, yarn over and pull through again to slip stitch to join. For round 2 you're going to chain 1, and this will be the same throughout this project. We're always going to place our first stitch directly underneath this chain 1, so into this little space here, and we're going to place a double crochet increase in every stitch around. So an increase just means that we're placing 2 stitches into the same stitch. So I'm just going to insert my hook where my chain 1 is coming out of, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through both loops, and then I'm going to go back into that same stitch and place my second one. So at the end of round 2, because we're placing 1 double crochet increase in every stitch around, we'll have a stitch count of 12. So then I'll just move into my next stitch and I'll place a double crochet increase there, and you'll repeat that in total 6 times. So your stitch count will be 12 at the end of this round. So if you want to press pause, come back to me when you're ready to move up to round 3 and we can do that together. I've just come to the end of round 2 and I've got my 12 double crochets. So just be careful you're not placing extra stitches into this here. So this is our slip stitch where we joined our previous round, and this here is our chain 1 that we used to get up to the correct height. So just make sure you're not adding any extra stitches into those 2 little parts, and all we're going to do is you're going to want to pop your stitch marker out, and we're going to slip stitch to that very first stitch to join. So I'm going to insert my hook into the first double crochet, yarn over and pull through again, chain 1. And for round 3, I'm going to be placing a double crochet increase into this same stitch as my chain 1. So I'm going to insert my hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through both loops, and then I'll do exactly the same going into the same space. So that's my increase. Pop my stitch marker back into that first double crochet that I did, and then into the next stitch along I'm just going to place 1 double crochet, and that's the round repeat. So into my next stitch I'm going to place an increase and then 1 double crochet increase, 1 double crochet, and you do that all the way around, and when you come to the end of round 3 your stitch count should be 18. So if you want to press pause while you make your way around, alternating a double crochet increase and 1 double crochet on its own, you should be finishing on a double crochet on its own. Press play when you're ready to move up to round 4 and we can do that together. I've just come to the end of round 3. I'm going to pop my stitch marker out of that very first stitch that I placed, and I'm going to slip stitch just to join this round. And then again we're going to chain 1. For round 4 we're going to place a double crochet increase into this stitch that my chain 1 is coming out of. So I'm just going to insert my hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through both loops, and then go back into that same space and place my second one. Pop your stitch marker back into that very first stitch that you did, and then into the next 2 stitches we're just going to be placing 1 UK double crochet, and that's going to be your round repeat for round 4. So you're going to do a double crochet increase, so 2 double crochets into that stitch, and then 1 double crochet into the next 2 stitches. So you'll repeat that all the way around and come back to me when you're ready to move up to round 5. I've just reached the end of round 4 and your stitch count should be at 24 at the end of this round. So for round 5 we're going to pop this stitch marker out of the first double crochet that we placed and slip stitch to that stitch just to join the round and chain 1. For round 5 we're just going to place 1 double crochet in every stitch around, again starting here underneath my chain 1. So I'm going to insert my hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through both loops, and I'm going to place 1 double crochet in every stitch around. And at the end of round 5 you should have a stitch count total of 24, so it shouldn't change any at all. Don't forget to use your stitch markers if you need to. Press pause and come back to me when you're ready to move up to round 6. I've just reached the end of round 5 and I'm going to slip stitch to my very first stitch to join and then chain 1. Round 6 is exactly the same as round 5, so you're just going to insert your hook into the same space that your chain 1 has come out of and place a double crochet. 1 double crochet in every stitch around, and your stitch count should remain at 24. So if you want to make your way around, press pause, come back to me when you're ready to move up to round 7 and we can do that together. So I've just come to the end of round 6. Now for the 2 smaller toes, it's at this point that you're going to slip stitch to join, and then you'll chain 1 and fasten off, and then weave in your loose end. It is much easier if you weave in your loose ends at this point before you move on. So you want 2 of these toes up to round 6, and then you're going to do 2 rows where we add an extra additional round on, exactly the same as round 5 and 6. We're just going to do a 7th round of 1 double crochet in every stitch along, and your stitch count will remain at 24. So I'm doing a larger toe for this one, so I will meet you back when I'm finishing off round 7 if you want to press pause and come back to me. So I've just reached the end of round 7. My stitch count is remaining at 24, so my stitch count is all correct. What I'm going to do now is slip stitch to the very first double crochet of the round, chain 1, and leave a long enough loose end for you to weave that loose end in. And if you pull up on that chain 1, pull your loose end through, hold down to that chain 1 with your thumb and finger and pull firmly just to secure that knot. And then what I'm going to do before I go any further is I'm just going to weave in my loose ends. So you should be making 4 of these. 2 of them you're going to stop and tie off at round 6, and 2 of them you will stop and tie off at round 7. So I'll let you go ahead and make those. If you want to press pause, the video is all time stamped for you, so if you need to go back and recap, then please make the most of the timestamps that are along the bottom of the video, and I'll see you shortly when I've got all my toes. Hopefully you're at the same point as me now and you have got 4 toes. So these 2 here are my toes, which are my smaller ones and only have 6 rounds. These 2 here are my larger toes and they have 7 rounds. So what we want to do next is we're going to join them all together and start working the paw or the foot. So you're going to want to grab your, for me, my red yarn again, but for you whichever colour you've chosen. And the way that I prefer to join is just popping a slip knot into my yarn and then placing that on my hook. I just feel it gives it a bit more of a secure join. And then if you look on your toes, you should notice this little bump here where we've joined and tied off. Now what is important is that you don't put an extra stitch in that, because otherwise it'll throw your stitch count off quite significantly. So make sure you're not putting an additional stitch in that. Apart from that, you can join or add them wherever you want. I do prefer to try and keep all my joins towards the back, just so that I don't have any seams running up and down in different directions. But because we are adding the cream little pad details to the paws, don't get too stressed out about this. It's just what I prefer to do. You can really join them anywhere because the majority of the paw is going to be covered up. So I've got my yarn attached to my hook. What you want to do is first of all start by taking one of your smaller toes, and what I'll do is I'm just going to join it just before this little knot that I tied to secure it off, and then I'm aware of it, I know that I'm going to skip it and it's not going to affect my stitch count. And then I'm just going to yarn over and pull through again, just to slip stitch my yarn onto there, and then you're going to chain 1. So starting where our chain 1 is, we're going to do 1 double crochet in the first 12 stitches. So I'm going to insert my hook just underneath my chain 1 and place my first double crochet. Then I'm going to make sure that I skip the knot and move in. So I'm skipping this knot here and moving into my next available stitch, which is just to the right of it, and place a double crochet there. That's if you're watching the right hand version. If you're watching the left hand version, it's to the left. So that's 2, and I'm going to crochet over my loose end as well. Just save me a job of weaving in a little bit later. So here's my 3rd stitch. Now if you prefer and you feel more comfortable, pop your stitch marker into that first stitch when we come to the end of this first round. So there's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and there's 12. So next you want to take one of your larger toes and you're just going to insert your hook. Again, I'm going to do it just before that knot, which is there for me, just so I'm aware of it and I make sure I skip it, and place a double crochet there, and you've just joined your very first toes together. So then I'm going to make sure I skip my knot and my join and move into my next available stitch, and again you should be placing 12 in total. So there's my first 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and there's 12. So once you've reached your 12, you want to grab your second large toe, and again I'm going to join it in exactly the same place, pop that onto my hook and place a double crochet. Now these first double crochets I always try to keep just a little bit on the tight side, just it prevents any big gaps in between your toes. Next I'm going to make sure I skip this knot here where I joined the round of my toe and move into my next available stitch, which is here, and place my second double crochet onto that toe. In total again we're going to do 12, so there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and there's 12. So you should have one toe left, and that should be one of the smaller toes that we did with only 6 rounds in. So grab that smaller toe, I'm going to join it in exactly the same place again and start my double crochets, making sure again that I'm careful and I skip that knot and move into my next available stitch. And now all you're going to do is place one double crochet in the top of every stitch. At the end of this first round of the paw, you should have a stitch count total of 96. If you want to press pause while you make your way around, come back to me when you're ready to move over to this toe if you're struggling a little bit, and we can do that together. But your stitch count in total should be 96 at the end of this first round. So I'll see you in a second. I've just reached my last stitch of this first toe, and so I can see that my next stitch along is where my toe joined. So I want to be really careful I don't put any extra stitches in there. So I'm just going to work a double crochet into this next stitch, and then I'm going to move over directly to my next toe. So I can see that I've got a stitch coming out of this one here. So my next available stitch to work into is this one here. So I'm going to insert my hook straight into that next stitch along and place a double crochet, and then continue to do that all the way along until I reach my start point. Again, at the end of this first round, your stitch count should be at 96. So just take your time, double check your stitch count when you come to the end, just to make sure that everything adds up for later on in the pattern. If you want to press pause while you make your way around, and come back to me when you're ready to move up to round 2. I'm just at my last stitch of round 1. My stitch count's correct, I've got 96 stitches. I'm just going to pop my stitch marker out and slip stitch to the very first stitch that we did, just to join that first round. So yarn over, pull through and pull through again, and chain 1. So what we want to do now is we're going to, for round 2, a row of decreasing. So what we want to do into this first stitch here, we'll start here and we'll work a decrease. So insert your hook again underneath your chain 1, yarn over and pull up a loop, and then move directly into your second stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Now there are neater ways to do a decrease, so if you want to use any of those other methods then go ahead. I just wanted to keep this as beginner friendly as possible for people. So into the next 6 stitches we're just going to place 1 double crochet. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and we're going to repeat that pattern all the way around. So we're going to repeat a double crochet decrease followed by 1 double crochet in the next 6 stitches all the way around, which will reduce our stitch count down to 84. So my next stitch along will be a decrease, so I'll insert my hook into the next stitch along, yarn over, pull up a loop, and then move into the very next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through all 3 to make my next decrease. Then I'm going to put 1 double crochet in the next 6 stitches, then a decrease, then 1 double crochet in the next 6 stitches all the way around, and at the end of round 2 your stitch count will be at 84. So if you want to press pause while you make your way around and come back to me when you're ready to move up to round 3. I'm just placing my last double crochet of round 2. Again, I'm going to slip stitch to my very first stitch to join and chain 1. Round 3 we're going to do another decreasing round, so the round repeat for this is going to be a decrease followed by 5 double crochets, and you'll repeat that in total 12 times. Your stitch count should be at the end of round 3 72. So let's do this first couple with you. So where my chain 1 is coming out of, I'm going to start in there, insert my hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, and then move into my second stitch, insert my hook, yarn over, pulling up a loop, 3 loops on my hook, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. That's my first decrease, and then 1 double crochet in the next 5 stitches. Don't forget your stitch markers if you are newer to crochet, just so you don't get lost. Pop that into the first stitch that we made. So I've just done 1 of my 5 double crochets, so this is 2, there's 3, 4 and 5, and then I'm going to place my next decrease. So inserting my hook into that next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, insert my hook into the next stitch along, yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops on my hook, yarn over and pull through all 3, and then 1 double crochet in the next 5 stitches. You'll repeat that sequence in total 12 times all the way along, and your stitch count should be 72 at the end of round 3. If you want to press pause and come back to me when you're ready to move up to round 4, and we can do that together. Just come to the end of round 3, and I just want to slip stitch it to join before I start round 4. So take my stitch marker out, slip stitch to the very first double crochet of the round and chain 1. For round 4 we're going to place 1 double crochet in the first 3 stitches, again starting here where our chain 1 is coming out of. I'm going to insert my hook into that space and place my first double crochet and 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches, so I've got 3 double crochets in total. Then I'm just going to pop my stitch marker back into this very first double crochet that I made, and then into my very next stitch I'm going to place a half treble crochet. So I'm going to yarn over, insert my hook into that stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Into your next stitch you're going to want to place a UK treble crochet. So you're going to yarn over, insert your hook into your next stitch along, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. So that's a UK treble crochet. In total we want 28 of those going along the front here. So in the next 27 stitches we want to place 1 UK treble crochet. So yarning over, inserting your hook, pulling up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So there's 1 and 2. So if you come back to me when you've got 27, we'll move on to the second part of the round repeat. So I've just placed my 27, and remember I did 1 as well, so I've got 28 treble crochets going across the front there now. And what we want to do is we're just going to do 1/2 treble crochet into our next stitch. So yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops, and then we're just going to place 1 double crochet in the next 3 stitches. So that's 1, 2 and 3. And all you're going to do now is you're going to repeat that sequence again. So we're going to do 1 double crochet in the next 3 stitches, 1/2 treble crochet, 28 treble crochets, 1/2 double crochet and 1 double crochet in the last 3 stitches. So if you want to press pause while you make your way along, so let's get you started though if you need a little bit of support. So 1 double crochet in the next 3 stitches, 1, 2 and 3, then a 1/2 treble crochet into the next stitch, and then 1 treble crochet into the next 28 stitches. So there's 1, 2 and 3. Press pause, come back to me when you've got your 28 and we'll finish the round off together. I've just placed my 28th treble crochet. Into the next stitch along I'm going to place a UK 1/2 treble crochet, and then I'm going to place 1 double crochet in the remaining 3 stitches. 1, 2 and 3. So then I'm going to slip stitch to the top here just to join round 4, pop my stitch marker out, insert my hook into that first stitch, yarn over, pull through, and then pull through again just to slip stitch to join. So for round 5 we're going to chain 1 and we're going to place 1 double crochet into the first 4 stitches, again starting where our chain 1 is coming out of. So there's 1, 2, 3 and 4. Next we're going to place 1/2 treble crochet into the next 2 stitches. So yarn over, insert your hook and place 1/2 treble crochet, 1 into the next 2 stitches. So there's my 2. Next what we want to do is make a double crochet decrease. So you're going to insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, insert your hook into your very next stitch along, pull up another loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 3 stitches. And then what you're going to do is place 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches. Into your next stitch you're going to do a decrease, and then again 1 double crochet into the next 2 stitches, 1 and 2. Next we're going to do a decrease, so there's my decrease, and then 1 double crochet into the next 2 stitches, 1 and 2, then a decrease again, and then 1 double crochet into my next 2 stitches, 1 and 2, another decrease, and then 1 double crochet into my next 2 stitches, and then 1 more decrease, and 1 double crochet into the next 2 stitches, 1 and 2. So in total we've repeated the decrease and followed by 2 double crochets, in total 6 times. Next, what we want to do is place 1 half treble crochet into the next 2 stitches. So there's 1 and there's 2, and then into the next 4 stitches we're just going to place 1 double crochet into those. So there's 1, 2, 3 and 4. So we just need to repeat that sequence again, so exactly the same. So going along the back side of it now, so into the next 4 stitches we're going to place 1 double crochet. So there's 1, 2, 3 and 4, then 1 half treble crochet into the next 2 stitches, 1 and 2, and then we need to make our 6 decreases. So we're going to decrease and then 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches, in total 6 times. So here's my first decrease, followed by 2 double crochets, 1 and 2, my second decrease, followed by 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches, 1 and 2, my third decrease, followed by 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches, 1 and 2, my fourth decrease, and then 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches, 1 and 2, my fifth decrease, then 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches, 1 and 2, and my last decrease, this is my sixth decrease, and then 1 double crochet into the next 2 stitches, 1 and 2. Next we're going to do 1 half treble crochet into the next 2 stitches, so there's 1 and 2, and finally we're just going to place 1 double crochet in each of these remaining 4 stitches. So there's 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then just slip stitch to the first stitch of the round just to join, and chain 1. So for round 6, what we're going to do, starting again just underneath our chain 1, we're going to place 1 double crochet in the first 4 stitches. So there's 1, 2, 3 and 4. Don't forget your stitch marker if you feel more comfortable using a stitch marker. And then into the next 2 stitches we're going to place 1 half treble crochet. So there's 1 and there's 2. Now what we want to do is we're going to do another sequence of 6 decreases again, but it's going to be 1 decrease followed by 1 double crochet on its own, then a decrease, then a double crochet on its own. So let's do that together. So my first decrease, inserting my hook into my next stitch, pulling up a loop, moving into my second stitch along, pulling up another loop, yarning over, pull through all 3 loops. So that's my first decrease, and then 1 double crochet into the next stitch along, and then another decrease. So this is my second decrease, and then a double crochet into the next stitch along, and then a decrease. So that's my third decrease, and a double crochet into the next stitch along, and then a decrease again. So that's my 4th decrease done, and then a double crochet into the next stitch along, a decrease again, so that's 5 decreases, double crochet into the next stitch, and then my last decrease, so that's my 6th decrease, followed by 1 double crochet on its own. So next what I want to do is I'm going to place 1 half treble crochet into the next 2 stitches. So there's 1 and 2, and then into the next 4 stitches along I'm going to place 1 double crochet. So there's 1, 2, 3 and 4, and we're just going to repeat that again going down the back. So we're going to start off with 1 double crochet in the next 4 stitches. So there's 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then 1 half treble crochet in the next 2 stitches. There's 1 and 2, and next we're going to do our 6 decreases again. So into my next stitch, 2 stitches, I'm going to place my first decrease, followed by 1 double crochet on its own, and then I'm going to make my second decrease, followed by 1 double crochet on its own, moving on to my third decrease, followed by 1 double crochet on its own, my 4th decrease, followed by 1 double crochet on its own, my 5th decrease, followed by 1 double crochet on its own, and then my 6th decrease, followed by 1 double crochet on its own, and then next we're going to make 1 half treble crochet in the next 2 stitches. So there's 1 and there's 2, and you should have 4 stitches remaining, and you're going to place 1 double crochet in each of those to complete round 6. So there's 1, 2, 3 and 4. Slip stitch to the first stitch in the round to join everything together, and chain 1. So for round 7 we're going to start again just underneath our chain 1, and we're going to place 1 double crochet into the first 4 stitches. So there's 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then into the next 2 stitches we're going to place 1 half treble crochet. So there's 1 and there's 2. Into the next 12 stitches along we're going to place 1 treble crochet. Don't forget I use UK terminology, in the US they are double crochets. So you're going to be yarning over, insert your hook, pulling up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12, and then into the next 2 stitches you're going to place 1 half treble crochet. So there's 1 and 2, and then 1 double crochet into the next 4 stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3 and 4. So again, you're going to repeat that going along this side. If you want to pause the video, and I'll leave the instructions on the screen for you, and I'll meet you back when you're ready to move up to round 8. For round 8, we're going to start off again underneath our chain 1, and we're going to place 1 double crochet in the first 4 stitches. So there's 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then we're going to place 1 half treble crochet into the next 2 stitches, 1 and 2. And then next what we need to do is we need to make ourselves a UK treble crochet decrease. So what you want to do is you're going to yarn over, insert your hook into this next stitch exactly like you would do if you was making a regular treble, yarn over and pull up a loop. So you've got 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops. And then we're going to move across to our next stitch. We're going to yarn over, insert our hook into our next stitch along, yarn over, pull up a loop. So you'll see now that you've got 4 loops on your hook. You'll yarn over and pull through 2, 3 loops on your hook, and then yarn over and pull through all loops on your hook. And that's how we do the treble decrease. So then what we need to do next is we're going to place 1 treble crochet into the next 2 stitches. So you're going to yarn over, insert your hook into your next stitch and place your next treble, and then a treble in the next stitch along again. And we're just going to repeat that decreasing sequence in total 3 times. So there's my first time. So I'm going to do another decrease now. So I'm going to yarn over, insert my hook and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, move across to my next stitch along, insert my hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3. And then I'm going to place 1 treble crochet into the next 2 stitches. So there's 1 and there's 2, and then I'm going to do that decrease sequence one last time. So I'm going to yarn over, insert my hook into that next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over and move into my next stitch along, pulling up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3. And then I'm going to place 1 treble crochet into the next 2 stitches, 1 and 2. So next what I need to do is 1 half treble crochet into the next 2 stitches. So there's 1 and there's 2, and then 1 double crochet into the next 4 stitches, 1, 2, 3 and 4. And then you're just going to repeat on the back exactly what you've just done on the front. So if you want to press pause, I'll leave the instructions on the screen for you, and come back to me when you're ready to move up to round 9. Just come to the end of round 8, and I'm just going to slip stitch to that very first stitch of the round just to join, and we'll start round 9. So you want to chain 1, and again we're going to place 1 double crochet in the first 4 stitches, starting here underneath our chain 1 in this space just right here, and you're going to place 1 double crochet in the first 4 stitches. So there's 1, 2, 3 and 4. And then you're going to be placing 1 half treble crochet into the next 2 stitches, 1 and 2, and then you're going to place 1 UK treble crochet into the next 9 stitches. So there's 1, 2, 3 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. Next we're going to make our 2 half trebles, so 1 half treble crochet in the next 2 stitches. There's 1 and there's 2, and then 1 double crochet into the next 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3 and 4. And again we're going to repeat going along the back of the stocking exactly what we've just done on the front. If you want to press pause, the instructions are on the screen if you need a little recap, and I'll meet you back when you're ready to move up to round 10. I'm just placing my last 2 double crochets of round 9, and I'm just going to slip stitch to the top of that very first stitch in the round to join and chain 1. Round 10 is a lovely easy round for us. We're just going to be placing 1 double crochet in every stitch around, starting right here again underneath our chain 1. So inserting our hook into that stitch, pulling up a loop and placing a double crochet. 1 double crochet in every stitch around for round 10, and round 10 will have a stitch count of 42. So if you want to make your way around, and come back to me when you are ready to move up to round 11, and we can do that together. Just at my last 2 stitches of round 10, my stitch count is correct. I've got 42 stitches. I'm going to slip stitch to the top of my first stitch just to join the round and chain 1. So for round 11 we've just got a little bit of an increase in round here, and the round repeat is going to be 1 double crochet increase followed by 1 double crochet in the next 6 stitches, and you'll repeat that in total 6 times, so your stitch count will be 48 at the end of row 11. Let's just do this first one with you. So you're going to insert your hook underneath your chain 1 and place your first double crochet increase. So there's 1, and then back into the same stitch to place my second double crochet, and that's my first increase completed, and then 1 double crochet into the next 6 stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. And then we're just going to repeat that sequence 5 more times. So my next stitch along is going to be another increase, so I'm going to place 2 double crochets into that stitch, followed by 1 double crochet into the next 6 stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So if you want to go ahead and repeat that sequence another 4 times, at the end of round 11 you should have a stitch count of 48. So if you want to press pause, come back to me when you're ready to move up to round 12, and we can do that together. I'm just at my last stitch of round 11, so I'm going to place my last double crochet for the sequence there, and then I'm just going to slip stitch to the very first stitch again to join. So now what we're going to do for rows 12 through to rows 29, we're just going to be placing 1 double crochet in every stitch around. Our stitch count will remain at 48. So let's start you off. So you're going to start off again underneath your chain 1, and that's where you'll be placing your first double crochet, and you'll be placing 1 double crochet in every stitch around for rounds 12 through to rounds 29, joining with a slip stitch at the end of every round and chaining 1 to move up. So if you want to press pause while you work rows 12 through to row 29, when you're finishing off row 29, press play, come back to me, and we can do the cuff of the stocking together. So I'm just about to finish up row 29, so I thought I'd show you what mine's looking like. Hopefully yours is looking similar. I'm just going to pop my last double crochet into this round, just into there, and then round 29 I'll slip stitch to that very first stitch, chain 1, and then I'll fasten off there with the red. So you're going to want to, at this point, grab the colour that you want to do your cuff in. So for me, that's the cream colour, and what I like to do just to make it extra secure, but you join your yarn however you want to. I like to just make a slip knot and pop that onto my hook, and where I'm going to insert my hook is just where I've just fastened off the red colour, just underneath where my chain 1 and that knot was, so just there, and I'll slip stitch the cream yarn to join. So I'll yarn over and pull through, and then pull through again. Then you'll want to chain 1. So for round 30 we're going to start in the same space that we've just attached and joined our yarn, and we're going to place 1 double crochet into there and into the first 23 stitches. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and I'm just carrying my loose ends over, but feel free if you want to weave them in at the end. It's completely up to you which way you do that. I just don't particularly like weaving in my ends. You may know if you're a regular on this channel. And I think when these are for more decoration like these are, I mean, I'm going to put some cat treats in them obviously, but they're not going to be holding too much. I'm not selling these ones. If it was for a craft fair, I will probably be securing these a little bit better and weaving in the ends individually, but just because I'm doing it for my own home, I'm just being a little bit lazy with it. And now I've lost count on how many stitches I have done, so let me just double check. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So this is my 23rd. So after you've done your 23 double crochets into this next stitch here, you're going to do an increase. So you're going to place 2 double crochets into that stitch, and then you're going to place 1 double crochet into the next 23 stitches. So if you want to make your way around placing 1 double crochet into the next 23 stitches, press pause, come back to me when you have done that, and I'll just show you how we finish this round off and move up to the next round. So I've just done my 23 double crochets, and you should have 1 stitch left, and into that very last stitch you're going to pop an increase. So we're going to pop 2 double crochets into that last stitch, and then you are going to slip stitch to the first double crochet of round 30 to join, and chain 1, and then we're going to turn our work because what we're going to do is fold this cuff over. So the reason that we're turning is when this cuff is finished, we're going to be folding it over. So I want the right side to be on the outside, so I need to make sure when I'm making it the right side is on the inside. So we have chained 1 and we've turned our work, and starting in this first stitch here where your chain 1 is coming out of, you're just going to place 1 double crochet. and then you're going to place a double crochet into every stitch around, and your stitch count at the end of this round should be at 50, and you're going to repeat that for rounds 31 through to round 37. So 1 double crochet in every stitch for a total stitch count of 50. You'll be slip stitching to the very first stitch of the round, chaining 1 and continuing. You won't turn your work again after this, we only turn it that one time. So if you want to press pause now until you reach the end of round 37, and then I will show you just how we finish off this cuff. We've got a couple of other things to make, so we have got the pads of the paw to make, and also the little hanger that we will attach to this stocking. So hit pause and then come back to me when you're ready to move on to the next bit. So I'll see you shortly. So I've just finished my 37th row of the cream. I slip stitched it at the top here, chained 1 and fastened off, and just weaved in my loose end. I thought I was recording to show you me weaving in my loose end, but I hadn't pressed record, I'm so sorry. When you turn your cuff over the top of your stocking, you should be looking a little bit like this now. So what we need to make next is the little pads for our toes, and then one here for the foot. So grab your cream colour, or whichever colour you chose for your contrast colour, and we need to make, first of all, we'll do 4 of the little toe pads. So I'm just going to pop this out of the way for the moment. So what you want to do, and make sure you leave yourself a nice loose end here for it to be woven in, you're going to make a slip knot and place that onto your hook, and then we're going to chain 6. So you're going to yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through. So that's 4, 5 and 6. So then starting in the second chain from the hook, and I like to work into these back loops, so they're the loops that run down the center of your chain when you turn it over. Now if you're not comfortable with working in these back loops, feel free to work into your chain from the front. I just feel like it gives a neater finish when I work into these back loops. So there's my first back loop, and here's my second. So I'm going to insert my hook underneath that second back loop, and I'm going to place a UK double crochet, and then I'm going to place a double crochet into the next 3 chains. So I'll have 4 in total. So that's my second one. There's my third. And there's my fourth. So you should just have 1 chain left at this point that you've not worked into, and into this chain we're going to place 3 double crochets. So 1, then back into the same stitch again and place a second, and pivot your work around as you do this. So we're trying to get round to the other side, so move your work around as you're doing it, just so they're evenly spread out along that stitch. Again, I'm going to crochet over my loose end, so that's 3, and then you're going to do 1 double crochet into the next 3 stitches. So move along into my next chain and place a double crochet there, a double crochet into the next one, 2, and then 1 into my next one. And then the very last chain that you've got to work into, you're going to want to place a double crochet increase in there. So we're going to place 2 double crochets into that last stitch. So that's 1, and then back into the same space and place a second one. Then we're going to slip stitch to the first stitch to join. Don't forget to use your stitch markers if you're more comfortable using them. And for round 2, what you're going to do is we're going to chain 1, and into this first stitch where our chain 1 is coming out of, we're going to place a double crochet increase. So we're going to place 2 double crochets into that stitch that our chain 1 was coming out of. Use your stitch marker and just mark that very first one that you did. It'll just make it a little bit easier when we come back round the other side. And then you're going to place 1 double crochet into the next 3 stitches. So there's 1, 2, and 3. And now into the next 3 stitches along, we're going to place a double crochet increase. So we're going to be placing 2 double crochets into the next 3 stitches. So there's 1, 2, so that's my first increase. Move into my next stitch along, and into that one I'm going to place an increase again. So I'm going to place 2 double crochets, 1 and 2, and then into my next one along I'm going to place my last double crochet increase. So again, you're going to place 2 double crochets into that stitch. Then you're going to work 1 double crochet into the next 3 stitches. So there's 1, 2, and 3, and you should just have 2 stitches left. So here are my 2 stitches, and into each one of those I'm going to place a double crochet increase. So I'm placing 2 double crochets into each of those 2 remaining stitches. So this is my last increase, 1 and 2. Again, don't get tempted to be putting anything into the slip stitch or the chain 1 here. You want to be leaving those 2 parts empty. Remove your stitch marker from the first stitch, and we're going to slip stitch just to join the round, and chain 1. So into this first stitch here where our chain 1 is coming out of, we're going to place a double crochet increase. So that's our first stitch in round 3, is a double crochet increase. So there's my first, going back into the same stitch and placing my second one, and then into the next stitch along you're going to place 1 double crochet, and then into the next stitch you're going to place a half treble crochet. So you're going to yarn over, insert your hook into that next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. Then into the next stitch you're going to place a treble crochet. So you're going to yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And then into this next stitch along we're going to place a half treble crochet. So you're going to yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Into the next stitch along we're going to place a double crochet increase. So we're going to place 2 double crochets into that next stitch. So there's 1 and there's 2. We're going to place 1 double crochet into the next stitch, and then the next stitch along we're going to place an increase. So we're placing 2 double crochets into that next stitch, 1 double crochet into the next stitch, and then into the next stitch along we're going to place another increase. So we're placing 2 double crochets into that next stitch, and then 1 double crochet into the next. Into your next stitch along we're going to place a half treble crochet. Into your next stitch along you're going to place a treble crochet. Into the next stitch along you're going to place a half treble crochet, and then into your very next stitch we're going to place a double crochet increase. So I'm going to insert my hook and place 1 double crochet, and then go back into that same stitch and place a second one. Then into the next stitch I'm going to place 1 double crochet. Into the next stitch along we're going to place a double crochet increase. So we're placing 2 double crochets into that stitch, and then into our last stitch here we're just going to place 1 double crochet, and then we will slip stitch to the very first stitch just to join and fasten off. So once you've slip stitched, chain 1, leave yourself a long enough of a loose end to sew this onto your stocking. Pull up on that chain 1, hold the chain 1 between your thumb and finger and pull firmly just to secure that there. And then this loose end that we've partially weaved in, I just like to pop a couple of knots underneath. So I'll go underneath just the back loops only, insert my hook underneath the back loop and just pull that loose end through. and then just chain 1, and then I'll just make a second knot there. So this is the side that's going to be against the stocking, so nobody will see this one. Place my thumb on that chain 1 and pull it just to secure that knot, so I know that isn't going anywhere, and then I'll snip that loose end out of the way a little bit, leaving this one long loose end to attach my toe pad to my stocking. So you want to go ahead and make 4 of those. So pause the video while you do that. So once you've finished all 4 toe pads, this should look a little bit like that. I'm just going to put these to one side while we make the big paw pad. So let's just move those out of the way. I'm going to use the cream colour yarn again for mine. So to begin making the large pad for the centre of the stocking, you're going to want to take your chosen yarn. So I'm making mine in this cream colour again. Going to make a slip knot and just pop that onto your hook. And we're going to begin by doing a chain of 18. So we're going to yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through, in total 18 times. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 and 18. So for round 1 we're going to start in the second chain from the hook. So you can work this into the front, you'd be working into this chain here. So this on your hook is your working yarn, doesn't count as a chain. Here's your first chain and here's your second chain. I prefer to turn my work over and work into the back loops, so they're the loops that run down the centre of the back of each of the chains. So you're going to insert your hook into that second back loop or the second chain and place a double crochet. And then you're going to place 1 double crochet in the next 7 chains. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Don't forget to use your stitch markers if you are a little bit unsure. It just makes it easier when we come back around to join this first round up. Then into our next stitch we're going to place 3 double crochets into that one. So we're going to go into the stitch and place a double crochet, back in and place a second, and then back into that same stitch and place our 3rd double crochet. Next you're going to place 1 double crochet in the next 7 chains. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. And you should have 1 chain remaining, and into this very last chain we're going to place 3 double crochets. So just like before when we was doing the toe pad, I'm just going to pivot my work around as I pop the 3 in. So there's my first, there's my second, and there's my 3rd double crochet. So into this next chain along and into the next 6 stitches we're going to be placing 1 double crochet. So here's my first. I'm just going to crochet over my loose end again. So there's 1, move on to my next stitch, 2, move on to my next stitch, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Next, what we want to do over the next 3 stitches is work a triple double decrease. So you're going to insert your hook into that next stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop. Move into your next stitch along, yarn over and pull up a loop, and then move into your very next stitch along, yarn over and pull up a loop. So you should have 4 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through all 4 loops. Next, what you want to do is we're going to place 1 double crochet into the next 7 stitches. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, and then into this very last stitch where we've just worked our 7th stitch, we're just going to pop 1 more double crochet, and then we're going to just slip stitch to this very first stitch that we did in round 1 just to join. And chain 1. Into this first stitch here where our chain 1 is coming out of, we're going to place a double crochet increase. So we're going to pop 2 double crochets into that first stitch. Replace your stitch marker just so you don't lose track when you come back on the other side, and then we're going to place 1 double crochet in the next 8 stitches. So just insert your hook into your next stitch, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and there's 8. Then into the next stitch along you are going to place 3 double crochets, so insert your hook, place 1, back into the same stitch and place a second, and back into the same stitch and place your 3rd double crochet. Next we're going to work our way along this side of the paw pad, and we're going to place 1 double crochet in the next 8 stitches. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and there's 8. And then into the next 3 stitches we're going to work a double crochet increase, so 2 double crochets in each of the next 3 stitches. So here's my first increase, 1 and 2. Move on to my next stitch and place a double crochet increase into that 1 and 2, and then place 1 last increase into the next stitch along, so 2 double crochets into that stitch. Next, what you want to do is work 1 double crochet into the next 5 stitches, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. And then again, just like we did before, we're going to work a triple double crochet decrease. So I'm going to insert my hook into that next stitch along, pull up a loop, move into my next stitch and pull up a loop, and move into my next stitch along and pull up another loop. So you should have 4 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 4 loops. Next we're going to work 1 double crochet into the next 5 stitches. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, And you should have 2 remaining stitches. Remember, don't confuse this. This is your chain 1 and your slip stitch. So you have only got 2 stitches left here remaining, and you're going to place a double crochet increase into each of those. So we're placing 2 double crochets in each of the remaining 2 stitches. So there's my first increase, and then move into my last stitch and place my last crease. Then we're going to slip stitch to the first stitch of the round just to join. So pop your stitch marker out, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through and pull through again and chain 1. So for round 3 of this paw pad, what we want to do is starting again where our chain 1 is coming out of, and we're going to do a double crochet increase. So we're going to place 2 double crochets into that very first stitch there. So there's 1, and then back into the same stitch and place a second one. Pop your stitch marker back in so we don't lose track as we're going round, because it is easy to put an extra stitch in our slip stitch here, so we want to avoid that because it'll throw our stitch count off. And then we're going to place 1 double crochet in the next 10 stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then into this next stitch here, we're going to place 3 double crochets. So hopefully you can see that the heart shape is taking place now. So that's my second double crochet. Pivot your work around as you're placing the 3 into that 1 stitch. And then along this side here now, we want to place 1 double crochet in the next 9 stitches. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and there's 9. And then what we want to do is we're going to do an increase into the next stitch. So we're placing 2 double crochets into that next stitch, and then into the next stitch along we're going to place 1, and then into the next stitch we're going to place another increase. So we're placing 2 double crochets into that stitch, and then we're going to place 1 double crochet into the next, and then we're going to do a third increase into the next stitch. So 2 double crochets into that one and a double crochet into the next stitch. Next, what you want to do is place 1 double crochet in the next 4 stitches. So there's 1, 2, 3 and 4. And next we're going to make the triple decrease again. So we're going to insert our hook, pull up a loop, move into the next stitch, pull up a loop, and move into the third stitch along and pull up a loop. So you should have 4 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 4 loops on your hook. Next you're going to place 1 double crochet into the next 4 stitches. So that's 1, I've got a squeaky hook, 2, 3 and 4, and then into the next stitch we're going to place a double crochet increase. So we're popping 2 double crochets into that stitch, 1 double crochet into the next stitch, a double crochet increase into your next stitch, and then into the last stitch of this round you're going to place 1 double crochet. Again, be careful you're keeping track of your stitches and you're not putting anything into this slip stitch or chain one. Then you can pop your stitch marker out and we want to just slip stitch to join and chain one. So we're on to the last round now of this part of the stocking. So into this first stitch here, we're going to place an increase. So we're going to go into that same stitch that our chain one's coming out of and place 2 double crochet into that stitch. So there's 1 and 2. Replace your stitch marker to help you keep track of the round. Sorry, this is the second to last. We've got this round and then one more to go. So next we're going to do a double crochet in the next 12 stitches. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. And if you've got a squeaky hook like me, if you rub your hook in your hair, it gets rid of the squeaking. Just a little tip if you didn't know that. And then into the next stitch we're going to place 3 double crochets. So there's 1, 2. Again, I'm just pivoting my work around as I place those 3 into that stitch, and then working back up along this edge. Now we're going to place 1 double crochet in the next 10 stitches. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. Now we need to do our 3 increases here. So we're going to do an increase into the next stitch. So 2 double crochets into that stitch and then 1 double crochet into the next 2 stitches. So there's 1 and 2. And then into my next stitch I'm going to place my second increase, 1 and 2, and then 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches, 1 and 2. Then I'm going to place my last increase for this side into my next stitch. So I'm placing 2 double crochets into there and then 1 double crochet into the next 2 stitches, 1 and 2. Next, what you want to do is you want to place 1 double crochet in the next 3 stitches, 1, 2 and 3, and then we're going to do the triple decrease again. So we're going to insert our hooks into the next stitch and pull up a loop, insert our hook into the next stitch and pull up another loop, and insert our stitch into the next loop, pull up another loop. So then you should have 4 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 4 loops that's on your hook. Next we're going to place 1 double crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. So there is 1, 2 and 3, and now we just need to do our sequence of increasing again. So into our next stitch we're going to place our first increase and pop 2 double crochets into there, and then 1 double crochet into the next 2 stitches. So there's 1 and there's 2. Into my next stitch along I'm going to place another increase, so I'm placing 2 double crochets into that stitch and then 1 double crochet in my last 2 stitches. Then I'm going to pop my stitch marker out and we can slip stitch to join round 4. And now we're on our final round. I got a little bit carried away before, sorry about that. So we're going to chain 1, and to start round 5, which is our final round of this heart shape, we're going to make a double crochet increase into the same stitch that our chain 1 is coming out of. So there's my first double crochet, there's my second double crochet. I'm going to pop my stitch marker back in just to keep track of my stitches, and then we're going to place 1 double crochet in each of the next 14 stitches. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and there's 14. So into this next stitch I'm going to place 3 double crochets. So there's 1, there's 2, and here's my third. Again, just pivot your work round as you place those 3 into that stitch, and then you're going to place 1 double crochet in the next 11 stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and there's 11. So what we need to do now is work our increase sequence just to get us around this half of the heart. So into the next stitch we're going to place our increase, so 2 double crochets into there, and then 1 double crochet into the next 3 stitches. So there's 1, 2, and 3, and then into our next stitch we're going to place another increase, so we're placing 2 double crochets into that next stitch, and then 1 double crochet into the next 3 stitches. So there's 1, 2, and 3, and then our last increase we're going to place into our next stitch. So we're going to pop 2 double crochet into there, and then 1 double crochet into the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, and 3. Next what we're going to do is place 1 double crochet into the next 2 stitches, 1 and 2, and then we're going to work our triple decrease again. So insert your hook into the next stitch and pull up a loop, insert into the next stitch along and pull up a loop, and then insert into the next stitch and pull up a loop. Yarn over and pull through all 4 loops to complete that decrease, and then you're going to place 1 double crochet into the next 2 stitches. So there's 1, and there's 2, and then into this next stitch we're going to work our increase sequence again. So we're going to place our first increase into the next stitch, so we're popping 2 double crochets into this next stitch, and then 1 double crochet into the next 3 stitches. So there's 1, 2, and 3, then a double crochet increase into the next stitch, 1 and 2, and 1 double crochet into each of your remaining 3 stitches, 1, 2, and 3. And then we're just going to remove our stitch marker, slip stitch to this first stitch of the round just to join, chain 1, and fasten off. So you'll need to leave enough of a loose end to attach your heart onto your stocking. I'm so excited, we're nearly there, we're nearly done. So I'm going to leave probably about 10 inches. Pull up on that loose end. Hold your chain one between your thumb and your finger and pull to secure. So that's our main bit of our paw pad done. So hopefully yours looks similar to mine. It's a really cute little heart. So the last thing we need to make is our little hanger. So I'm going to make that again in the cream colour. So I'm going to pop my heart out of the way for now, and then we'll put everything onto the stocking all together once we've got all the bits together. So to make our hanger for the stocking, you're going to want to make a slip knot and pop that onto your hook. We're going to chain 21, so you're going to yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through. So I've just done 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So again, starting in the second chain from the hook, we're just going to do 1 row of double crochet. Feel free to crochet into the front of your chains if you prefer, or follow along with me and crochet into the back of your chains. But insert your hook into your second chain from hook and place your first double crochet there, and then you should have 19 chains left just to place 1 double crochet into each of those. So in total you'll have 20 stitches. So I've just done 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. So then once you've got your 20, chain 1 and fasten off. So again, pull up on your loose end that you've just trimmed, secure the chain 1 between your thumb and finger and pull that firmly just to secure. What I then like to do with this hanger is one of the loose ends I will just weave in. So I'll just run that down the centre there, just catching under the back of the post stitches from the row of double crochet, under 3 or 4 of those stitches, and pull through, just being careful that I don't pull it out of shape and I don't pull it too tightly. Then I'm going to go back underneath those same stitches, just skip that first one so you don't pull it all the way back out, and pull through, and then I'll just do that for a 3rd time just to make sure it's lovely and secure. Again, just skipping that very last one that I went under, and then you can trim that loose end. So then I'm going to fold my hanger over, and I'm going to take my darning needle again and thread this loose end onto it, the one that I've got left for my hanger, and I'm just going to stitch the 2 halves together, making sure that I do go through both sides. So I just do a couple of stitches in and out, and then I move up 1 row and do the same, in and out through the front, and then back in through the back and out through the front. And then it's completely up to you whether you place this hanger in the center here, but I'm going to put it onto the side. So I'm just going to place it roughly about 2 rows down into the red in the center of the stocking. I want to make sure that I'm going through the stocking and through both sides of the hanger, and I do try to keep this as neat as possible, but don't worry too much, because this cuff will cover up anything that's on this side when the stocking is hanging up, so you won't be able to see that. But I do try and keep it a little bit neat, but I'm not the best of sewers. So you go ahead, attach your hanger and weave in those loose ends, and then we'll place our paw pads, and then we're done. It's nearly Christmas. So my hanger's all attached now. So all I've got to do is I like to place my heart so it's facing that way on my stocking, and then you're going to just attach your little toe pads onto each one of your toes. Just have a little play around with the positioning of these until you're happy. Now I do think that it's easier to start with the heart and get that lined up, and I usually, where my cuff is finishing, I leave one little row of the red and then I attach the top of the heart there. So I'm just going to do that off camera, and then I'll be back with you shortly to show you what my finished stocking looks like. So I finished sewing everything onto my stocking now, and I am so made up with how this pattern has turned out. I hope you love it just as much as I do. Please drop me a comment in the box below if you do make one of these. I'd love to see it. Join us over on our Facebook where you can share pictures of any of your makes. It doesn't have to be anything that's one of my patterns, just anything at all. It's a lovely little group that we've got going over there. If you have enjoyed this tutorial, please give me a thumbs up. It's a really easy way that you can support the channel, and if you subscribe, that will support Rocco Baby Crochet as well, but it also means that you won't miss out on my next free pattern that's coming out. So I hope you have a great week. I hope you have fun making these stockings for all your fur babies, and I'll see you real soon with my next free pattern. So take care, happy hooking, bye!